Hey folks, George here. Right now we're going to continue discussing the moral issue around global poverty and the obligations that rich countries and rich people have towards poor countries and poor people around the world. In continuing this discussion, we're going to analyze Peter Singer's article, Famine, Affluence, and Morality. Peter Singer suggests that rich countries certainly have the capacity to help poor and developing countries. Bottom line, nobody has given enough. Rich countries, individuals, nobody has given enough. The most immoral thing for Singer is that rich people in rich countries spend money on much less valuable things, like fast planes, opera houses, and the such. Everyone knows the tragedies of starvation around the world. With that in mind, we're going to really dive into Singer's argument about why the rich around the world should give so much more than they actually are giving. Here is Singer's core argument. Step 1. The suffering from starvation is very bad. Now, Singer says, if you disagree with that, I'm done talking to you. There's no way for us to communicate if you disagree that the suffering from starvation is very bad. Number 2, morally speaking, if it is in our power to do something without sacrificing too much, then Singer's conclusion is we must do something to stop that starvation. Singer gives a very famous example of a child drowning in, let's say, a kiddie pool, right? A little baby, let's say, who's drowning in a kiddie pool. And I see the child drowning in a kiddie pool. I'm wearing brand new shoes, though, and brand new pants. I can't ruin my shoes and pants, can I? To save a child? Singer would say anybody who says that is terribly immoral. And I think many of us would agree with that. Many of us would agree with that. That anybody who says, oh yeah, there's a child drowning right there in the pool, but I can't save them. I'll ruin my shoes. Of course you should ruin your shoes if it means saving a child's life. It's the same thing with starvation around the world. You can stop people from starving to death around the world. It might ruin your pants. You might not be able to buy your latest smartphone. Singer is going to say, yeah, so your smartphone is not as valuable as a human life that's starving to death. That's a pretty weighty argument, and it seems hard to me to disagree with it at all. Where can you disagree with Singer here? I don't think you can. Singer certainly doesn't think you can. Here's some counters that Singer anticipates. Singer says it doesn't matter if you're just one person amongst millions, you still must do something. You must do something. Here's another anticipated problem that Singer considers. It makes no difference that this starving child is on the other side of the world. All humans are equal. Don't you agree with that? This is even more so in the 21st century, right? With instant communication and swift travel. Of course, we could send enough resources to the other side of the world tomorrow. And your smartphone is not as valuable as all that. It's not as valuable as a human life. Now, here's Singer going a bit further with his explanation. Some people will say giving to charity is good, but it's not necessary. Rather, Singer will say, we ought to give the money away, and it is wrong not to give your money away. We ought to give the money away, and it is wrong not to do so. Now, Singer knows that some people think this is too drastic. It's too drastic, isn't it? Singer's response is, too bad for you, man. That doesn't affect the validity of the argument. You tell me, from all the reasons we've listed, which step of his argument went wrong. By the way, people said the same thing when they wanted to end slavery, didn't they? This is too drastic. There's been slavery amongst human civilization for thousands of years. We can't just end slavery. Singer would say, of course you must. Of course you must. Same thing with slavery, whether or not everybody agrees with it, whether or not everybody acknowledges it or not. Same thing with starvation on the other side of the world. We must end it now. Another objection that Singer considers is the claim that morality is for our society, my local neighborhood. It's inessential to go outside of our society. Singer says that's just because that's what you are accustomed to thinking, right? If you and everyone else was more reasonable, you would all acknowledge that all human beings are equal. All human suffering is equal. Another objection that Singer considers. Well, this kind of utilitarianism, it seems to demand too much. I would have to work full time to stop starvation on the other side of the world. Singer says, you're damn right. You're damn right. Since we do not suffer like they suffer on the other side of the world, we ought to work full time to stop that suffering. That's what morality demands of us. Yes, morality is hard. We're not talking about living a comfortable life. We're talking about living a moral life. It demands a lot of you, especially when you can do so much. Now, Hardin gave us the argument that we shouldn't give to that poor society until they get their affairs in order. Singer says, you're right. That society, that country, needs to manage themselves better. They need to get their things in order, like population control. But that takes time. Guess what we can do right now? Stop starvation. Right now, we can stop starvation. And we can stop that now and help them and let them get their society in order as we stop the real evil of suffering from starvation. We can do both. Right? I've got a friend that likes to say, I know how to chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Sounds like that's what Singer is saying here too. What all of this demands of us, according to Singer, is giving to marginal utility. Giving to marginal utility. What does that mean? We should give until I am almost to the point of suffering too. In order to stop suffering. In order to stop suffering. Now, some objectors are going to say, yeah, but giving too much is going to cause significant evil here. Singer suggests, if you believe that all humans are equal, that just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter that, of course, we're going to diminish my quality of life. I won't have a smartphone anymore. Of course, Singer is asking me to give and give and give and give. That's what morality demands. The problem is that consumer society has had a distorting effect on the goals and purposes of its members. Certainly, we have to weigh all considerations. If we gave too much, even Singer acknowledges this, if we gave too much, we wouldn't be able to help as effectively. There is something nice about America having become the richest country in the world. What that means is that America can do the most good around the world too. And Americans can do the most good around the world too. But since none of us really give as much as we should, this is all just an academic exercise, right? What Singer really wants to do is end real suffering, which is beyond dispute. There are people around the world today, right now, that are suffering. We could talk about philosophy all you want. Let's end that suffering now. I really like that flavor of Singer's philosophy. He says, what is the point of relating philosophy to public affairs if we don't really take our conclusions seriously? At the very least, Singer ends his article with, we can make a start. And that's the summary of Peter Singer's thoughts on how to help and assist and address real poverty around the world. See you next time. Bye-bye.